feels nauseated. Next to him, his wife wakes up. She thinks it may be a gas leak from a stove she left on, so she tries to get out of bed, but her muscles are weak too. She's nearly paralyzed. A few miles over in the same town of Mattoon, Illinois, a cough in the night wakes up a young mother. She opens the door to her daughter's room only to find her unable to move, muscles weak, nearly paralyzed. A third incident is reported.
911, what's your emergency?
Mrs. Kearney of Marshall Avenue smells a strong and sweet odor. She assumes it to be the smell of a newly planted flower bed outside, continues on with her night, but it grows stronger. She begins losing feeling in her legs. She calls to her sister, who enters the room and notices one of the bedroom windows are open. The police are called and they check the surrounding home. No evidence of a peeping Tom. They leave.
You're watching Mysteries on Disrupt.
Two out of three guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. But don't worry, the best way to prevent this is to do something about it while you still have hair left. In comes Keeps. A licensed doctor will review your information directly online and recommend the best hair loss treatment plan for you. After that, it's shipped directly to your door every 3 months. Inside, you'll find generic versions of FDA-approved medications, which means it's way more affordable. Plus, you can message your personal Keeps doctor 24/7 with any questions or concerns you may have along the way. Give it about 4 to 6 months, and you'll start to see results. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, you can head on over to keeps.com/disrupt or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. Mr. Kearney is returning from his work as a taxi driver when he notices a figure outside their home. He chases the guy but is unable to catch him. His description? A tall man, dressed in black, wearing something around his head. That same day, 2 similar incidents are reported: strange odors, weakening effects, a gas mask. The Cords are returning home after a date night when they notice something sitting on the porch. A small handkerchief. She picks up the cloth, feels a jolt of electricity. Her face begins swelling, a burning sensation in the mouth and throat, vomit, partial paralysis. Authorities scan the area and find a skeleton key, a type of master key, on the sidewalk adjacent to the porch. And again, a few blocks away at the home of Mrs. Burrell, she spots the outline of a masked stranger. Over the following week, more incidents are reported. 2 women describe seeing blue vapor and hearing a motorized buzzing sound. Public concern grows and the FBI are called in to the small town. Local police issue a statement. The last known report comes the following day from a Bertha Birch, a figure in the night who fled. When checking the area, a woman's footprints were found at the scene.
I'm Rod Serling. You're listening to The Zero.
At this point, the town is split. Some believe there's a masked maniac roaming. Others say the media is spreading false stories that only further propagate fear. The chief of police issues a press conference where he states that the odors and symptoms may have been the result of pollutants or toxic waste released by nearby industrial plants. They speculate that the chemical and can both induce symptoms similar similar to those reported. In response, Atlas Imperial, the factory closest to the town, denies the allegations, stating they only had a few gallons of the aforementioned chemicals, all of which were secured. Eventually, the reports cease, and the town returns to normality. In our first draft of this video, that's where it ended. But things felt, too in the air. Was it really a case of mass hysteria? Like, what were the odors and why did so many people report the same sequence of events within such close times of each other? That's when I dug deeper. Way back in the depths of the search engine, behind a paywall and buried in an article from 2003, an explanation appears. Author Scott Maruna had been following the case for the past 2 years, interviewing old residents of the town, digging up newspaper articles from the local archive, when finally, a person of interest. The legend goes that the grocer in the community was a well-respected man, but his son was an outcast, so he leaves for university to get a chemistry degree, then returns and spends most of his time in a lab he builds on the family property. A few days before the first gas attack, residents report a small explosion coming from the property. This narrows things down to a specific chemical called nitromethane, which has a few characteristics. 1, it's highly volatile. 2, it's sweet smelling. And 3, it causes nausea, burning of the mouth, swelling of the lips. From here, residents and police began suspecting it's the grocer's boy, so they set up surveillance on the kid, but the attacks continue, so they write him off. One resident who grew up at the time claims he enlisted his sister's help in an attempt to clear his name before wrapping up the entire thing. They believe he wanted to blow up the town. All in all, the family eventually places the young man in a mental institution where he remains for the rest of his days.